Well, instead of me explaining all the terms and the slangs and the rules of sports betting, I'm going to turn to the pro. This is Jay Kornegay. Great to see you.
Hey, Stormy, how are you?
Wonderful. I see these huge boards around the Superbook here, and there's a lot of pluses and minuses and a bunch of numbers. What is a point spread?
Well, Stormy, not all teams are created equal. So the odds makers come up with a tool called the point spread to basically make both teams equally attractive to all the bettors out there. As we know, teams vary in performance, but the point spread really equals the playing field.
Yeah.
And that's what the odds makers like to have. Equal action on both sides. Doesn't really happen that often, but that's what the point spread is intended to do.
All right, Jay, looking at this board in my kind of terms that I can understand, what does the -6 mean?
Well, the -6 would be attached to the favorite. So if you were to bet a favorite that is -6, for you to win your wager, that team would have to win by 7 points or more. If they win by 5 points or less, the other team would be the winning wager. If it lands right on 6, the final score lands right on 6, that would be a push.
Oh, wow. So no winner.
On the push, correct.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it rarely happens, but it does.
Yeah.
But most cases, the favorite or the underdog covers the spread.
Why is the half a point used?
It's just a rating system that we're not quite, maybe let's say 6.5. It's quite not a 6-point spread, not quite a 7. It's right in the middle, and that's something that will happen almost daily in our world, but it's a number that we come up with specifically to equal out the betting action.
It's remarkable how accurate a point spread can be from my own experience. How do you come up with the spread itself?
Well, people do remember those close ones. There's times when the point spread is clearly off and doesn't come into play. But our team in the back room of the Superbook, actually, we have our own power ratings. And those power ratings are discussed each and every week. We adjust them pending the sport. It could be nightly, it could be weekly. And those power rankings really do come up with the point spread.
Yeah.
And we'll adjust it according to maybe some other underlying factors that might have come into play.
That
their last
change.
performance. Yeah.
And they change.
Injuries, stuff like that. But it's our power rankings that really come up with the point spread.
Point spreads change right up until game time and even during game time. How far in advance do you lay down the first point spread?
Well, it does vary. The Superbook actually posted every single NFL game for the entire 18-week regular season late spring. And it gets a lot of attention. There's certainly a lot of discussion about it. But most other sports, usually it's a weekly basis or they... we'll post them nightly, right before, like I said, baseball games are on a nightly basis, basketball games nightly. So it really does depend on the sport itself.
Jay Kornegay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Stormy.
I'm smarter all of a sudden.